Recording in progress.
All right, welcome, and thank you for joining me, Dr. Rischer at Mathis Money, Graduation Money to Millions, where long-term investing begins now. All right, Mathis Money was established in 2020. My mission is to help students, teenagers, and young adults learn the value of early investing to create and build generational wealth. My goal is to inform each participant that he or she is an asset, to encourage participants to start investing at the age of 18, to educate students on the value of long term investing, to motivate participants to start a business before graduating from high school, and to understand the importance of weekly, monthly investing to build generational wealth. All right, the audience is students that are 14 years and up, high school or college senior, desire to secure financial freedom, desire to have freedom of time. I am an educator, entrepreneur, and author. I am not a financial advisor. However, I teach the fundamentals of building wealth. And my goal here is, again, is to inform you now so that you are prepared to begin your journey of building wealth. These are three of the four books that I have authored. You can see Graduation Money to Millions, 10 Steps to Become a Long-Term Stock Investor with Graduation Seed Money. Making Money is All Mindset, Mindset Wealth for middle school students. And for the elementary students, I have Making Money is All Mindset. And again, in the picture, you can see the emoji is saying, I am wealthy. And what is I am wealthy? It is an affirmation to affirm that we have the power, the ability, the skill set, the purpose to become wealthy. This is a quote from my Graduation Money to Millions book. When you graduate and receive money as a graduation gift, consider using it to acquire assets and not liabilities. And you may ask, Dr. Rischer, what are assets? What are liabilities? Well, to put it simply, assets are things that put money in your pocket. And therefore, what do you think liabilities are? Go ahead and give me your response in the chat. Again, if assets are things that put money in your pocket, then what are liabilities? Liabilities are things that take money out of your pocket. And if you look closely, you can see that I have the liabilities in red. And what does red represent? Red represents a loss of money. And obviously, green is connected to the color of money. And we want to have an overflow and abundance of assets or money or profit revenue coming into our person or to our business. Here is a list of assets and liabilities. On the right side, I have some popular assets that many people who are investors who are receiving income. It could be 500 shares of Apple. And if you are aware and paying attention right now, you will see that the price of the Apple stock has significantly increased. Jewelry that is paid for can be an asset. Owning an apartment building, not renting, but owning. Having $200 in your wallet. Now, you may not be doing anything with the money, but the fact that you have access to the funds makes it an asset. Shareholder equity. Shareholder equity is in the example of owning Apple stock. If you have 500 shares and if you bought the Apple stock at, let's say, $100, and now it has gone up to $200, that means that you have an equity of $100 per share. And if you take that equity times 500, you'll be a pretty happy person. Profit is an asset. So let's say you have a business, and once you pay off all of your expenses, again, an asset is something that puts money in your pocket. Therefore, if you have profit, it is an asset. And lastly, you, just as I had highlighted about my elementary book, you are an asset. Now, on the flip side, I have a list of liabilities. Buying clothing, especially expensive clothing. We like to look good, of course, and that's natural. But, I am a believer that I can look just as good wearing um, Walmart clothes versus Macy's or Dillard's. I'm fine with that. I don't need to wear Louis Vuitton, but to each his own. If you can afford it, then that's fine. But if you can't, then there's no reason to buy it. A monthly car payment, that is definitely a liability. Again, that's taking money out of your pocket. When you get to the age to begin driving, you will have choices to make, and you will determine, do I want a car? Do I want to buy a used car? Do I want to buy a brand new car? But either way, the word buying means that you're going to be taking money out of your pocket. Home with the mortgage. Again, you still have to pay for the house. It is taking money out of your pocket. It is a liability. And there could be a debate on whether having a mortgage is an asset. It potentially can be once it's paid off. But in the meantime, having a mortgage is an expense, just like renting a house. But we want to be in a position with anything that we desire that we have the cash on hand to get it paid off. Jewelry that you're paying monthly, again, versus the jewelry and the assets, because it's paid for, we can sell that and make profit. But when we are paying on the jewelry monthly, it is an asset. Having a short term loan is a liability, especially if you're talking about credit cards. And lastly, you are a liability to your parents. I know your parents love you. I have two children of my own, and I love them too, but they are costly. They are costly. So, with paying for school fees, cheerleading fees, dance fees, gymnastic fees, buying food, and the kids eating the food before we can get to it, that means they are a liability. All right, I want to show you a little video of a person named Trey Brown. And if you look at the title, Middle School Millionaire Retires His whole family. Middle School Millionaire. Wow. Okay, let's get into it. We were working so much after this. I go to church every Sunday, so just all right. So some key lessons from Trey Brown. Number one, I did not let the video play as normal as I normally would, but he talks about his first business adventure, and he was selling spinners. And so he talked about buying a spinner for $3, going home, spray painting it, adding designs and color to it, taking it back to school, and selling it for $7. So he started with something simple, something that he could go to the store, buy, bring it home, add a little flavor to it to increase the value to $7, from $3 to $7. Therefore, that would give him a profit of how much? Go ahead and put your answers in the chat just real quick. Yes, that would give him a profit of $4 per spinner. And he also talked about taking that money, going back to the store, going home, adding more flavor, spray painting more, and he was continuing to reinvest back into the company the way he did, and the way he did with the t-shirts. And so let's talk about those lessons. So first of all, know the difference between assets and liabilities, which we talked about earlier. He received birthday money. He received $300. And he talks about taking half of that money and he bought liabilities. That means he just spent the money on things he probably didn't need, but they were desires of him. But he was conscious enough to say, you know what, I'm going to take this $178, and I know that's not exactly half, but he's going to take this $178. He's going to invest in a t-shirt company, a t-shirt brand. Now, the other key thing that he said is he bought t-shirts, he sold, he reinvested back into the company. A lot of times we can think, okay, I got this money. Now, what am I going to buy? What liability am I going to go buy? I'm going to go buy some new shoes. I'm going to go buy some clothes. No, he reinvested. He said he had 16 shirts. He reinvested back into the company. He had 28. He sold 28, took that profit, reinvested 35. 16, 28, 35 to 10,000 t-shirts, which is his inventory in a warehouse. And he started at the age 12. In this video, you see he's 14 years old. So in 2 years, he was able to grow his business to $1 million company. Now, most likely, he doesn't have access to $1 million, but his company does. And just like myself, when you have a company, a business, what you end up doing is paying yourself through the business, normally somewhere between 20 and 30%, just on average. It could be more, it could be less, but generally speaking, somewhere between 20 and 30%. Lastly, Trey had a millionaire mindset. So having a millionaire mindset meant that his goal and his focus was to build a $1 million business, excuse me, which also is connected to my book, Making Money is All Mindset, which is why I am focused on trying to educate our elementary and middle school students on having the right mindset. Here is another quote. A long-term investor is one that is investing money for 20 to 30 years or even longer. It takes time to grow wealth. Plant the financial seed, and like a plant, watch it slowly grow into a large sum of money. You know, a lot of times we talk about Generation Z or the millennial generation and how they want things overnight, like microwave. But one of the things we have to understand is that wealth takes time. It is not an overnight success story. It is not. You may have the occasional person, but the overall, the big picture, it takes time to build wealth. Just like it takes time for a person to go from 0 to 40 years of age. It takes time. You're living. What we have to do is make enough money, create a budget, and say, hey, I'm going to pay myself 10 to 15% first. Take this money, invest it. Now I'm going to pay all of my expenses, whatever I have left over. I'm also going to include a emergency savings fund, and that target may be somewhere between $1,000 to $5,000. Normally, people will say have 3 to 6 months of your bill money in reserve, but that's up to you. So, but most importantly, you want to take your budget, take your money, pay yourself first, and that investment money is what you're going to put into an account, an investment account, or buy stocks so that you can slowly watch it grow. All right. All right. So I want to share a quick story, the Ryan Leslie story. In 2009, he buys $100,000 worth of stock in Apple. In 2011, his investment has grown to $350,000. Now, again, earlier I talked about equity. The equity is 250,000. So he started with 1,000, 100,000. The money has grown to 350,000. That means that in equity, he has 250,000. Now, once he cashes that out, that's his profit. He wanted to buy his mom a house because he was like, yo, in 2 years, my money has grown $250,000. He had a financial mentor and he advises him not to do it and tells him, if you sell your shares, this ends our relationship working together. And one of the things that Ryan Leslie talks about is having mentors, having individuals that can help you understand how to be patient, help you make decisions about building your wealth. And a mentor is a person that's generally has more experience and they can guide you. So he decides to hold on to his money. In 2021, the value of Apple is worth, his shares is now worth $16 million. That's right. $100,000 to $16 million, holding on to his investment. Now, had he sold at that time, depending on how much or how many shares he would have sold, his gross would not be 16 million. It's possible that it could be 1 million, 2 million, who knows? But that's all based upon the decision that he would have made in 2011. Because had he decided to spend all of it to buy a $350,000 house for his mother, then he would not have seen his money grow to 16 million. Now the question is, how many houses can he buy for his mom now? All right, just a couple of last things before we wrap up. Financial freedom or unprepared parenting. What are the keys to building long-term wealth upon graduation? Well, let's say you have a kid at the age of 18, and I'm just going to pick on the fellas for a second because it aligns with the scenario that I want to present. I kind of want to give you like a worst case scenario. So let's say a young man has a kid at 18. He has to pay $600 in daycare and $500 in child support. That is $1,100 per month for 5 years. That would cost him $66,000 again for a liability. Now, as a parent, you love your children, but again, they are liabilities. 66,000. However, life is about the choices that we make. Let's say he saved that money, invested it into an account at 8%. If he were to just put in 66,000 and not put nothing else into that account, in 20 years at 8%, it would grow to about $326,842, which would give him an equity of $294,840. That's a lot of money. Look at the money that we're missing out on if we have a child too soon. And what I like to tell and teach my students, again, I'm a mentor as well. I'm telling my kids, do not have a child until you have at least $10,000 saved up. Because when you're this young and you have a child early, you're going to be working from behind. Because not only do you have to make enough money to take care of yourself, but you also have to have money to take care of the child as well as the woman if you two are in a committed relationship. Because even if you are in a committed relationship, just to pay daycare for $600 a month is costly as well. All right. The last life lesson I want to talk about is college debt. That's the big buzzword right now because the college education, many of our students and young people desire to go to college to get a higher level of education or get a degree to make more money, of course, but they're also walking out having a lot of school loans. So for a doctor, the average student loan amount is $200,000. For a lawyer, the average student loan amount is $160,000. That's a lot of money to have to pay back over 30 years. For a teacher, the average student loan amount is $59,000. The average teacher's salary in Tennessee, which is where I live, is $52,000. That means that you're coming out, your school loan is $7,000 more than what you make in 1 year. You couldn't even take your full salary and pay off your loan at one time. And keep in mind with taxes, you're actually not making 52,000. It's probably going to be around $40,000, $42,000. So, another quote from Graduation Money to Millions: the sooner you start, the better on you will be in the long run. So, again, we want to get you started early at 18 so that by the age of 38, 48, you have options. You have options. By the age of 38 and after 20 years, you have $326,000 invested available. At that time, you may say, hey, I'm gonna buy a new house. I'm gonna buy some properties. I'm gonna buy an apartment building. I'm going to pay off my cars. I'm gonna pay off some school loans. I'm gonna pay off my wife's loans, whatever it may be. You have access to that money. You can also take that money and roll it over into a different account and let it grow another type of way. But the point is that you have access to six figures and it can create a multiple of opportunities for you, as well as, hey, maybe you just want to take a big vacation somewhere. Maybe you want to take a year off. And a lot of times we're not necessarily thinking about our finances 20 years down the road. We think about our career, we think about our marriage, but we're not necessarily thinking about, okay, where will I be financially? And that's important. And that's why I'm on this journey now to educate students. I am a teacher by nature. I've been working in the school system for 24 years. And I am committed to making sure that kids have the tools and the information, they have the skill set, they have the experience to be successful as young adults, and as future investors. All right, just to here are types of investments, or sometimes referred to as securities. You have retirement accounts, and most of the times, depending on the type of employment that you secure, they will have retirement accounts set up for you. This is one of those things that generally the more education or the more um, demanding the job, you can have better retirement availability or options. You have stocks, again, buying shares, buying into a company. When you buy into a company, you also have ownership. Bonds are a way to invest your money. This means that the government, the municipality, or corporations are they are in need of money. So they say, hey, we're going to create these $1,000 bonds because we need $1 million to build a football stadium. But we're going to issue these $1,000 bonds at 5% for 10 years. So that means you would deposit or buy a bond for $1,000, and then in those 10 years, it's going to grow 5%. And you'll get your $1,000 back, and as well as 5% of 1,000. Mutual funds, which is very similar to stocks, but the difference is that mutual funds are run by a fund manager, and they buy a bunch of companies and they monitor and manage the account. CD, certificate of deposit, it's a savings and investing program with the bank. Again, it allows you to put money into an account at 3%, 5%, and between 6 months, a year, or whatever the terms may be, you'll earn interest on that money. Commodities, please excuse the misspelling. Commodities, which includes metals such as gold, silver, agriculture, animals, cows, horses, livestock, agriculture, your land, livestock are the animals, and their energy. Buying into life insurance policies, those are good investments because when you buy an insurance policy, after a certain amount of time, generally somewhere after 10 to 20 years, you have access to funds that you can pull to either start a business, pay off some debt, and the amount that you take back actually is a loan that you can either pay back at a certain interest rate, or they'll just take it out of the death benefit at the end of the policy, or when you pass on. Buying real estate, buying houses, buying commercial real estate or commercial buildings, entrepreneurship, starting a business, and then now we have cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. All right. And to end, I am offering a promotion of my book, Graduation Money to Millions, for you seniors, high school seniors, or those of you that are 18 years old going into your senior year. You can purchase a copy of my book, which is on sale at $15. Just go to matthewsmoney.net, go to shop, and make your purchase. Again, my name is Dr. Rischer. It has been a pleasure to work with you today. I hope that you have enjoyed the content, the presentation, and I hope that it is a nugget for you to get started on your investing journey. This is my contact information. And lastly, if you will, I'm gonna leave this up for about 60 seconds. Go ahead and scan the survey and give me feedback on today's presentation. Again, I'm gonna leave this up for another 50 seconds. Just take your cell phone, scan the survey. There should be about 4 questions. Give me feedback so that I can improve my presentation and be more informative and give you the information that you need to be successful. All right. Take care. Again, math is money. If you can do math, then you can put money in your pocket.